fantasies. Every day I long to be with you. Every day I long for the truth. Just kidding, I'm falling in love with you. More with everything you do. Speak of the mountains, tremble with your love. And at the sound of your voice, know you are near, be near to me. And the rain falls like tears, and most days I cry, but facing my fears, the truth I won't deny. Just can't help falling in love with you. More than every little thing you do. Speak out of mountains, travel with you. And at the sound of your voice, know you are near. Just can't help falling in love with you. More than every little thing you do. Speak out of mountains, travel with you. And at the sound of your voice, know you are near, be near to me.
Um, it says EL right now instead of Pastor Bill's face. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Pastor Bill is having some technical difficulties. Um, he has AT&T as phone service, and if anyone knows what's going on in the world right now, everywhere in the South and most of America, is having some intermittent AT&T issues because of a situation that happened in Nashville on Christmas Day. Um, so,
So you can hear me, but
Yep.
you can't see me.
Yep. Right now
Unless we
you're
can get
just
this working.
an EL.
Well, the EL is my audio. My
No, I
video
know.
it should be
I know.
PB, but
I know. I'm just saying
it's
right
not there
now
yet.
what
So
they see is just EL, and it kind of womp 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 a little when you talk.
oh, I see.
Yeah. Yeah. So how was your week while you're getting your computer set up?
My week
Mm-hmm.
was Christmassy.
Really?
Um,
That's it? No elaboration? Just it's Christmassy?
the kids opened presents. I opened presents.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Pastor Bill is back!
now you can see my face.
Yes!
Yeah, so that's about it. I mean, just hung out with the family and did Christmas stuff. We finally got our car fixed. It had been doing all this vibration stuff over 68. Between 68 and 78 it was vibrating, and then it extended down to 65, and then anytime we would over 65, when we'd let off the gas, the whole car would start going dum, 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 dum. um and I sent a video to Nooms about what was actually causing the problem. It was the drive shaft was all loose, and it was causing some serious issues. So we got a new drive shaft in there, and now it runs totally smooth, no vibrations, no issues at all. So we got that back in. Um, Hello, Juno Malone. Welcome on Twitch. I'm glad you're here. So yes, we had to have the drive shaft replaced, and so now it runs great. So that was my week, getting a drive shaft and having Christmas. And then your week was complete internet outage
So my week was
on your
crazy.
days off.
So I had from I had Christmas Day to, well, tomorrow off to spend with the family, and because of what happened in Nashville on Christmas Day, um, a good end to 2020. We went without internet up until about 3 o'clock this afternoon. We didn't have internet, and as a gamer, all my games are pretty much online. And then, like, I still, for some reason, on my phone, am not getting text messages. Tina's getting text messages just fine in the same house, same account, same, but I'm not getting any text messages. So, my father came over this weekend because we decided, while he was off work for factory shutdown, that we were going to watch all the Star Wars. So that was the initial let's do it. Um, Luckily, Biggs is a huge Star Wars fan. It's absolutely idiocy the amount he likes it. But um, he watched. So he brought all the DVDs. So we went that route.
Ah.
So it was like we knew, we didn't have cells. Like it was bad because Christmas Day we're sitting at my parents' house, and like I'm sitting there and I look over. I call my wife into the room real quiet. I'm like, "Hey, baby, did we pay the bill?" And she's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Did you pay the AT&T bill? We don't have AT&T service right now. My parents have service. I don't. Did you pay the bill?" Yeah, it comes out automatically. So then we start trying to log into our accounts because we're on their Wi-Fi right now. They don't have AT&T. They have other services. So we're on their Wi-Fi. We're trying to log into accounts. Can't get text messages for any dual factor authentication. So I'm like, what are we gonna do? And that's when we found out, you know, that the explosion had caused an AT&T outage. Several historical. It was in the historical part of Nashville, so several historical places are no longer in existence. One of everyone's favorite restaurants in Nashville is no more. Um, Supposedly, I haven't seen not been a lot of photos or anything come in because of the buildings are still unstable, and
Mhm.
it was still an active crime scene, still is, and so they haven't. There's not a lot of pictures that have come out of who's at what degree of destroyed, but supposedly the spaghetti factory, which is of icon in lots of cities, but Nashville's is one of the oldest, is just gone. Um, I had my meal after prom there. It's somewhere you take people when you come in. You can sit inside, and it's one of the things on Second Avenue that's supposedly just gone. Luckily, there were no casualties that we know of, other than possibly the um, person, but that's still up in the air and not confirmed. They found his DNA, but with an explosion, um,
You
that,
never know.
that can mean a lot of things.
Yeah.
So that's still kind of outstanding.
We've got
But
Connie Papke joining us on Facebook.
oh, hello, Connie.
Thanks for joining us, Connie. She says that she hates to hear about Nashville and she hopes that all your people are safe.
Oh yeah, everyone's safe. Only 3 people had minor injuries in the whole area. But Dad came over. We watched the first four. We watched the first 3 Star Wars, and
Mm-hmm.
we watched them in the order that they are chronologically, not the order of release, because we thought it'd be maybe better for the girls to see them in that order.
Yeah.
Um, Looking back, I'm not sure if that's the case, because it makes one of the scenes in episode 4 quite awkward if you go in knowing that they're brother and sister when they kiss. Because both the girls were like, they don't know, and we're like, yeah, they don't. So we do. It's gross. Yeah, but in the 70s, none of us knew. Like 80s, sorry,
Nobody knew. Nobody knew.
no one knew.
Yeah.
77. Okay, I was right. 70s. So because of that, the old one is actually here. And he can come into frame for a moment if he wants. Come here. The old one. The old one is here.
I'm
That's
like
the
trying to
old
look
one.
around the corner of the screen.
That's the old one. See
He's
here,
still
right?
not in frame.
Well, he's not in frame for you, but he's in frame for them.
Oh, there he is. Hey,
So-
Biggs.
Hey, how's it going?
It's good to
So-
see your face, man.
That's my
Good to see you
father.
too.
He's joining us because well, he's here.
Until next week.
He's here and he has to work next week, and so he was like, "Oh, I can just sit in your office during church." I was like, "I mean, you can, yeah, 'cause they just finished episode 4, and so then he's coming over tomorrow. Even though I'm working and my sister's working, he's coming over to finish 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, which I'm pretty sure he's going to end up here on Tuesday because since we had some setbacks today and internet issues and different things, I don't think he's going to finish 5 movies with the 2 girls tomorrow because we gotta pause a lot. They ask a
Let me just
lot
say,
of questions.
I think it's great that you're talking about having a Star Wars marathon with your little girls while wearing an Invasion of the Daleks
Yeah.
T-shirt.
Yeah.
The Peter Cushing Invasion of the Daleks,
Mhm.
which most people don't even know exists,
Mhm.
and somehow Walmart got the rights to make the shirt for. We both have that shirt. I have that shirt here too. That's cool. I like it. Zadie says, "Can we make it Wednesday? I'm home that day." She wants to be in on the marathon.
Well, she wants to watch the new ones with the girls because
Ah,
she's not
okay.
seen the new ones as many times as the old ones. I mean, we've all seen the old ones more times than but we've seen the newest ones just a couple of times. So she was like, I kind of.
Oh yeah,
we'll
so
see.
I remembered Greg got a gift card to Holocron while we were at Christmas at Mimi's house. Holocron is a Star Wars merchandise store
Oh.
in Fort Worth, and it's just all Star Wars stuff. They've got little collectibles, like we saw a Princess Leia doll from action figure, where she's wearing her clothes from her forest outfit, and that one was like $900 they were selling it for, I think it was. And they've got lightsabers there, and they've got all kinds of stuff, and they've got every Star Wars pop you could ever imagine, especially ones that say Walmart exclusive and Target exclusive, and they have all the exclusives. But it's just it was this crazy. I didn't even know it was there until we went to Christmas at
Yeah,
Mimi's house. But I
knew
just
nothing about
happened
it.
to wear a shirt that said Star Wars that day. So I ended up going to the Holocron store with a Star Wars shirt on. When you're my size, it's not so much about what's on the shirt as much as do they have it in the size for fat people? And if the answer is yes, then I'm probably going to buy it because that's a rare find.
Yeah, and I can feel you on that when I'm buying for Biggs. For me, I'm still an extra large. But if I don't start working out some, I might not be for much longer. So, so yeah, so that was our post Christmas. We did Christmas at my parents', and then we did Christmas with my in-laws virtually, and then we did Christmas morning here at the house for everyone else. And I'm not getting up at 5 a.m. to go into the gym, no matter how many times Tina says it, because I can't work out in the morning. I just can't do it anymore. I'm too old.
It puts me to sleep, man. I go to the gym in the morning, and I'm like, all right, I'm ready to go back to bed now until sunset. You guys have a good day.
Yeah.
That was my big problem in the internship, in the team meeting internship.
Mhm.
Make you get up at 5 a.m. and go run a mile and do all the stretches, and then I'd be like, okay, I gotta go back to bed now. I'm exhausted. The day's over, and they'd be like, now I gotta go to breakfast, and I'm like, dude, I'm gonna fall asleep in my cereal if you make me go to breakfast now. I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to skip breakfast,
Yeah, it
and
was
I
definitely
might be up for lunch.
so back then. Going to high school, I went to high school an hour away from where I lived, so we got up at like 4:30 every day. I took a nap on the way to high school, and then I worked out, took another nap in front of the smoothie place, had my smoothie, and went to school. So the internship wasn't terrible for me, but directly after, I was like, let's try night shift. And if you remember, I worked Walmart night shift for several years, and after that was done, it's like, nah, I can't get up early. I can stay up all night. I
Yeah.
can still do that just fine. I can wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and take a shower and take a bath like I did this morning because I wanted a bath at 4 o'clock in the morning because that's what my joints said I needed at 4 a.m. Thank you. But
Your brain and eyes were like sleep, and your joints were like bath.
yeah, it was like you're
And
gonna.
your
get in the
lungs were
bath.
like, don't do both. Don't do both.
Well, luckily and unluckily, this bathtub is about 3 inches too small in my house. So when we looked at it, when we looked at the house, I was like, oh yeah, plenty big, no problem. And I was right about an inch and a half to 3 inches, somewhere in there, of size. And so I can stretch my legs straight out and touch the sides, touch the thing. But then I have to push slightly to actually put my knees all the way down. Not enough to break the tub, but just enough to where it's uncomfortable. Like you're kind of jammed in, you know?
Yeah.
Which is actually really good for like, doing that to stretch the joints.
Or if the house gets picked up by a tornado, you can just wedge yourself in. And
Or comfortably, I have to cross my feet, and then my knees just sit out of the bath, and the rest of me gets to soak. And so I couldn't drown if I wanted to. Someone would have to come in and dismember me from the knee down for me to actually like drown in my bathtub. So I did. I took a sleep. Like I did. I fell asleep in the tub this morning, and I was
Zadie
like,
says you should break the tub so that you can put in a new one. That's what she said on Twitch. Right
that's
there.
that's what I read
See
on
it?
Twitch.
You see
Yeah,
it? Okay.
yeah. Let's break the tub. Smiley face. Yep,
Yeah, let's break the tub.
yep. That's what I read. Isn't that what you read, Biggs? Let's
That's a
break the
winky
tub.
face, I think.
This one. Let's
Oh, the purple one?
break the tub. See, all the
Okay,
words are
let's-
there.
Yeah, let's break the tub.
You get everybody's though. I don't think
It's there. It's all
I
there.
only get Twitches. Billiam gets everything. So the way it works, I am actually hooked into Twitch directly. And so I get only the Twitch stuff. Billiam gets all the services that can go back and forth, which is Twitch, Facebook, and one other. I can technically log into that one also, but then I'd have to log out on my personal one and log into that one, and I already do that on on this setup, so it's already too much to try to manage. And as you can see, I see the voice levels here.
Yeah.
And I can actually do things like this, where I can actually move his face around if I want in the middle of the live stream, and everyone.
I can't see what he's doing. I can't see the live stream at all.
Yeah, he
All I
doesn't
can
see the
is
live
his
stream,
face.
so I
I
can
see
I can
my
even-
raw camera feed,
I can do things
and I
like
see
this,
the chat.
where I click on webcam and I can actually just move my face to over his, and just talk like this, where now we can only see your beard and your forehead. Oh, he moved into my spot. No, get out of my spot. That's my spot.
I could sit over here.
Yeah, hi, I'm Bill.
Hi.
And the Ecclesian House is right on your glasses. Actually, you ended right at the
Hey,
right. Now you're just in it.
I can't see you
Yeah,
anymore.
you can't see me now. Okay, we're done.
This logo
Um,
in my eye.
Zadie says she got dizzy. Don't do that.
She also said you can't break the tub until you get couches.
Yeah, so Tina's actually starting working this week. She has found a job We'll see if once she shows up, they haven't filled the position with 500 other
Overhired
people.
again.
Um, so we'll see. But I don't think that's going to be the case in this situation. So she's excited because we can start buying some things we need for the house after we depleted our savings and that kind of stuff with the move. So
Ooh,
she's excited. Um,
cool.
so
All right. Well, I think we're warm. I think everybody that's coming's here. So let's jump into this thing.
okay.
Cool. All right. So this week's podcast, we were talking about Christmas, but we weren't doing the whole fluffy, make you feel good, validate your family traditions type talk, because that's not what we do at the Ecclesian House. Um, that's not what we're here for, and so that's not what this is. Now we are gonna pull on some stuff that we talked about a couple of years ago. Year before last, it was the beginning of season 2, episodes 4, 5, and 6. We did a 3-part series talking about the gold, the frankincense, and the myrrh that the Magi brought to um, Emmanuel, Jesus, as a toddler, right around a 2-year-old toddler. And there's, we talk about more about that in those, about why we say 2 years old. But the long and short of it really is, you know, um, uh, Herod asked the Magi, "How long have you been following the star?" And it doesn't have the Magi's answer there. But then when you fast forward into the scriptures, it actually says Herod orders all the baby boys 2 years and under to be slaughtered according to what the Magi had told him. So they had told him, well, we've been following this star in the sky for 2 years. And so that's why we know it was a 2-year-old toddler, um, Jesus, if you will, if you're doing the modern, if you want to go with the more um, historical prophetic name that was prophesied he would be called, it would be Emmanuel. Um, One of these days, I'm going to release some writings about exactly what the difference between Jesus and Emmanuel is, and why we believe his name is Emmanuel instead of Jesus. But just a short primer there is when you look in Matthew, and it's in the angels talking to Mary, and she says, "And he will be called Jesus." The word Jesus is in all caps there, and the reason it's in all caps is because the person that's translating the manuscript and recopying the manuscript is actually using a nickname there. And they want you to know that they're using a nickname there and that they're not actually using the actual quote that the angel said. In order to fulfill scripture, in order to fulfill prophecy, the Messiah's name would had to have been Emmanuel. And so there you go. Emmanuel. Okay.
Yes.
What are the important things we need to cover?
What are the important
Uh,
things? The important thing is exactly one of the big things you said. Is he would not? It's not his birthday. It is his.
yeah,
He was
it's not
already.
his birthday. Um,
I got into an interesting conversation with my grandmother because you know me. I enjoy my legalism.
uh-huh.
Um, yes, that is true. The CSB does do something a little different. Oh, sorry, the TOV does something a little different. TOV?
Tree of no,
Oh, TOL.
Tree of Life.
Tree of Life.
What does the Tree of Life do?
It says Yeshua, and his
Yeshua.
name shall be called Yeshua.
Well, that's the word Joshua, which
Yeah.
is an interesting.
So, but again, it's one of those things. The
Birthday of Jesus.
yeah, that's an important aspect. Is it's not
You were
the
having a conversation with your grandmother.
yeah. I was having a conversation with my grandmother, and she was like, "Well, everyone knows I'm legalistic. It's not like a not known thing amongst
And
my
if they
family.
didn't know, they do now.
Yeah.
'Cause you just
Um,
told. So
and so she's like, I was like, well, I justify it in this way, in the fact that, I celebrate Christmas not because Christmas, but because, the three kings, quote unquote, three kings day, the Magi, um, that's when around the time they would have been there, blah 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 blah, and so that's, technically Three Kings Day is the fifth,
6th.
sixth,
Yeah.
and so like we leave our decorations up until that day,
Hmm.
and
As
then we
per
take
the tradition.
yeah,
That's
and then
yeah.
we take our stuff down because
It's
that's
the 12 days of Christmas starting on December 25th, and then the 12th day of Christmas is January 5th, and then January 6th is Epiphany,
yeah,
and
and
that's the traditional Christian holiday.
and then
Uh,
there's the people who take it the other direction and do the 12 days before, and you're
which
like,
is a pretty modern
yeah,
interpretation of the 12 days of Christmas. Yeah.
um, so it's kind of interesting to look at that. But
Yeah.
that's kind of the conversation we had. Now, not that that's the important part for, the things we talked about, you talked
Right.
about in the podcast. That's just my important part because it's something
Yeah,
I've always
I kind of talked about,
very cared about.
what evidence do we have for when Jesus was born? And according to all the evidence, all the biblical evidence that we have, a December birth, the end of December, beginning of January, um, isn't even really an option. That's not even something that you can come to when you look at the biblical evidence, um, because Zechariah served in the order of Abijah, or however you say that word. I know I'm butchering that word, but basically there are so many services that they serve for 2 weeks at a time, and they end up serving twice a year. And his order, his class, they serve 2 weeks, and then 6 months later they serve 2 weeks again. And the closest year that we actually have historical records for when those services were is in AD 70, right before the temple was destroyed. So, given that record, when we then backtrack, we know that he would have served in around the May time, and then again around in November. And then we also know that Jesus was born 15 months later, because while Zechariah is serving, he meets the angel of the Lord. The angel of the Lord tells him he's going to have a son. Then 6 months into that pregnancy, Gabriel shows up to Mary and says, "Hey, you're going to have a son." And 6 plus 9 is 15. So we know 15 months after Zechariah served in the temple and met the angel of the Lord, that's when Jesus was born, which puts the birth, what did I say? I hate to have to just redo the math in my head. Puts it around September or March, we give or take a month, which really fits with what we know about historical Christianity, because the early church celebrated what we call the beginning of April, April 1st. They celebrated that time as the new year. They also celebrated it as the time when Christ was born. That's when they celebrated the birth of Christ. And then they would, on the back of that, they would then celebrate the resurrection. So we've got, so Easter is really when we should be celebrating the birth of Christ, and we should also be celebrating his resurrection. But we celebrate Christmas now, and we celebrate gifts now, um, because we are celebrating the Epiphany. And yes, we're celebrating it early, but that's really the holiday that we're celebrating, where the three wise men, but the Bible never says three. The Bible says they brought three gifts. The Bible very specifically,
No, it's 3.
the Bible very specifically prophesies in Isaiah chapter 60 that caravans of camels
I'm sorry.
would cover the land.
Biggs
You
has
sorry, what?
corrected me. It's not 3. It's Trey.
Tre.
It's Trey
See,
Wiseman. No, yeah, there's lots of camels.
It was
There
lots of
was
camels
not
and a lot of
there was
people.
not two.
It wasn't 3 dudes with 3 boxes.
No, it wasn't 3 dudes, 3 boxes, and 1 camel. Sometimes you see 2 camels in a nativity scene. Now you better go buy some more camels. Um, you need a lot
and
more little
and
dudes in robes and a lot more camels.
and if you go research it out, the word magi, or the English transliteration of the word magi, actually comes from the Hebrew name that they would refer to as the Zoroastrians. So if you ever meet a Zoroastrian, they are the people that still follow the religious order of the Magi. And so they recognized the signs and they came to worship the Messiah, the savior of the world. And they brought these gifts to herald him coming because they had their own prophecies about the birth of the Messiah and what that meant, and they came to worship him.
And if
It
you
looked like
play
it turned out.
Civilization, the video game, they have one of the best icons of any of the religions, and so I oftentimes follow that because they've got a
What
really cool icon.
what icon do they have?
It's the normal Zoroaster, the weird looking bird man thing that is
Oh,
there.
okay.
Yeah, it's a bird.
Weird looking Birdman thing.
It's a Birdman thing. I mean, I don't know. Look it up.
Look it up.
Good luck
All right.
spelling Zoroastrianism, but go look it up.
Right? Go look it up.
Have fun. Because I can't.
All right. So everybody, not everybody, but most cultures in history have celebrated something around this time of year, right? You've got Saturnalia and you've got Yuletide, and I'm sure you've got lots and lots and lots more of these holidays that come at this same time of the year where we basically celebrate that the nights are no longer getting, longer, and the days are starting to get longer. And so we have this switch from longer nights to longer days, and we're heading, out of this dark time. And some have suggested that Christianity stole this time and attributed it to our religion. And I guess that's possible. However, as a man of faith, from my perspective, when I look at history and I see that the Epiphany, that the date where the Magi came and recognized the baby Emmanuel, the toddler Emmanuel, as the Savior, that isn't them stealing. I'm live, Greg. You couldn't have found him a different cup? He's coming here and giving me signs. He's like, baby cup there. And I'm like, what? All right. So it's not so much that I don't see so much that Christianity stole it. What I see is all of this faith of all of these people for all of these eons and eons and eons, all these thousands and thousands of years, placed into this one time of the year where hope and light are given the greatest weight. And that comes to this fruition at this point where, of course, that's where God has the most authority to move to reveal his son to the non-Jewish communities, right? So the shepherds, they got to see the Savior the night of. That's when Jesus was revealed to the Jewish community. The shepherds got word from the angels. The shepherds went and found him in the nativity, there at the manger. Those are the only people that should actually be in the nativity with a baby Jesus, are those shepherds. Then they left there and they went over the countryside, singing the good news, telling people that the Messiah had been born. They'd seen the Messiah. That's when the Lord is presented to the Gentiles, the Jews. Then 2 years later, he gets presented to the rest of us, the Gentiles. The hope of the world, the hope of the lost world, the hope of the world that doesn't have the law, that doesn't have access to God, that isn't in, doesn't even have a way to get to try to get to right standing with God. We're then presented with, you know, the Savior. And so it really just all works out in this really great way that in hindsight, I can see how it looks like someone might have made it up. But when you look at the sheer mass of evidence from beginning to end on scripture, it becomes less and less plausible for any of it to have been made up. It all just lends itself to credibility over and over and over again.
And,
right?
And I think an important part is so often in all faiths, the Jews dealt with it time and time again. When you convert, it's like two families joining, and oftentimes some things get moved forward. We still call the Yule log the Yule log. Well, most people don't even know what a Yule is, but they call it a Yule log because someone did. It's a cultural thing, but it's technically a faith thing for a non-Christian religion. And
a Yule log is a log that you burn, and every ember that comes off of it is supposed to be another fertile calf or a fertile crop in the upcoming year.
Yeah. So, because of that, I think that has happened some as well. As people came to faith, they brought
their
with
culture with them.
traditions and no longer used them for the same reasons, but traditions are traditions. We open our Christmas presents on Christmas Eve with my parents. Why? Is that when you should open presents? No. You should open presents Christmas Day because that's the day of it. Technically, you should open presents on the 6th, but that's beside the point. I'm not making my kids wait.
The early church didn't exchange presents to
that too.
But that's another.
So, there's that aspect. But why do we do it? Tradition. Because my grandfather used to show up, and he was a crotchety man. And so, we loved him, and he showed up on Christmas Day, beeping his horn on his RV as he rolled into the house, the driveway. So because of that, we opened on Christmas Eve. And so, like, my wife, she opens on Christmas Day. So now we have this weird, we open, part of them from certain people on Christmas Eve and the rest on Christmas morning. And that's our family thing. It's basically 14 hours of here's stuff. But, the whole table was full. It was ridiculous. They bought my kids way too much stuff this year.
Good thing.
But that's beside the point.
Well, that's good for your kids, I guess.
Yeah. I'm a Scrooge. But I got a new thingy. And I put it in my office.
I saw that. What is that? God demonstrates his love for... Oh, yeah, Romans 5:3. Nice.
Yeah. And so I decided to put it here. Because
I got a B.
I also got new fidget spinners.
It does this.
I got new fidget spinners, and yet I'm fidgeting with my... Tell me why my wife bought me fidget spinners, and I just realized I'm still fidgeting my flash drive.
I don't know.
After and I got dice. I got some cool Oogie Boogie dice.
Cool.
That's another thing I got. They're like Oogie Boogie.
Huh.
So,
yeah.
Anyway. Yeah.
But we have these traditions that we embrace on holidays that don't have anything to do with the actual holiday. They don't have anything to do with the Lord. They don't have anything to do with... So, I think my main point is don't... What? What's
The
going on?
the cat's tail is in the camera.
Oh, I see.
That's not a
Don't
bear.
lump all these together and say things like, "Well, this is an integral part of worship in my religion. We have to put up a tree. We have to exchange gifts. We have to do this. We have to do that because Jesus was born on this day." Because he wasn't. And and if we're gonna embrace lies, then we really end up cheapening the gospel.
And that's sadly something we do see certain cultures and other religions do, of saying it's not the reason for the season. Shut up. And you're like, um, well, that's what we celebrate it, But you get all these people that jam it down. It's his birthday. It's his birthday. It's his birthday. No, it's not. Even if I believe the man existed, this is what people say, not what I say, of course. Even if I believe the person existed, he was probably born around March or April, and you're like, well, yeah. And so you do got to be, mentioning cheapening the gospel. We do have to be very so careful when we try to add things to the gospel. It's something we talk about all the time on the podcast and in our discussions. We can't add stuff to the gospel and then go, well, why don't you believe that? Well, because we're just making stuff up at this point. Like, that's not Christianity, that's a religion, and you're adding to it. Christianity is painfully simple, and that's why humans can't get it, is because it's painfully simple. And we don't handle simple well.
Christianity in its purest form is really not a religion,
Yeah,
which is weird to say, but it's
no,
not,
it's a
because
relationship.
a religion is rules. A religion is rules and procedures that you have to follow, and XYZ and dot I and cross T, and that's just not what Christianity is. Christianity is faith.
Yeah.
It's this you know amorphous thing that, yeah, you can't really quantify because it's unquantifiable. It is supposed to be. It's supposed to be your personal relationship with God. It's not something you can say, well, everybody does XYZ. That's not how it works. The closest thing that they could find, the simplest thing indicator they could find, that Paul could find, so that you would know what you needed to do and that we would know how to identify each other, is believe in your heart and confess with your mouth. That's it. It's a baseline. Is base that's it right there. Anything beyond that, that's between you and God. You need to sort all that out beyond that between you and God. Gifts of the Spirit, sort that out with God. Infilling of the Holy Spirit, sort that out between you and God. Do you wear socks on Tuesdays? Sort that out between you and God. I don't know why you'd make that a religious thing. Eh. Do you give do you give birthday presents to your kids on their birthday? Sort that out between you and God. If you feel like you're not supposed to and you find other people that don't think they're supposed to either, by all means, go and hang out in your temples on your birthdays and have family time. There's nothing wrong with that. But don't say that that's part of the gospel and that's part of salvation, because it's not. It just isn't. And so that's how I feel about that. But
Yeah, and it's we always have to be very. Sadly, it's been done so often by so many religions, not just Christianity, of just compounding it over time and messing up the original message. I mean, look at Buddhism. Not technically even a religion, it's a belief set. But now people worship Buddha when Buddha's plainly stated, not I. This is a way of living. I'm not God. And it's like, no, you are. Uh, You don't get to choose that. Like, but Buddha's, and that's why I know people who are, quote
not
unquote,
I, but the one to come.
yeah. I know
So
people who
many
are, quote
people
unquote,
forget that Buddha said, not I, but the
yep,
one to come has the answers of truth and life.
yep. And so I have a friend for several years, and she said she was a Buddhist Christian, and people were like, "That's impossible," and it's like, no, it really isn't,
No, it really isn't.
um, because she
Buddhism is
followed
a
the teachings,
philosophy, not a.
yeah, you know, certain parts of her life she followed Buddhism because it's a teaching, it's a way of doing things.
Yeah.
Like the Mandalorians, this is the way.
This is the way.
Um, and I just know that because of the memes.
No,
I
but you
haven't-
really should watch The Mandalorian. It
I
was
know.
really good.
I know. I really need to watch it. I just it's on my list.
Season 2 was better than season 1, I think.
So I think it's gonna come to fruition quite quickly after now that we've introduced it to the girls, because they are very much consume all Star Wars right now.
But there won't be a season 3.
Oh, there won't.
No, they're switching to a Boba Fett story.
I'm okay with
For
that.
at least the next season.
I'm okay with the I'm kind of okay with the side stories, and they kind of irritate me. It's a
I think
combination.
I think they're calling it the Throne of Boba Fett. I can't remember what they're calling it, but
I really need to go watch the cartoons, the Clone Wars and the Rebels, and some third one that Dad speaks of that I know nothing about because he's old.
because he's old.
He's old and talks about cartoons. It's like he's. If anyone was gonna have a weeaboo.
So I
A
saw they
weak
had
child.
released a Star Wars Christmas special this year, and I was like, "Ooh, Star Wars Christmas special 2020!" And it's Lego Star Wars, and I was like, "Oh, I ain't watching that."
The best Christmas one is, of
Nice.
course, the Ewok one.
Yeah.
hmm It technically came out as a Christmas special, even though it's not. Can you get her off the table where she doesn't belong? Because she's not allowed on the desk, and you put her on it?
Zadie says, Dad says, I don't know if she means her dad or your dad, the cartoons are good.
She means hers, my father-in-law.
Okay.
And they are. I started Rebels and then realized they fit in after and part of Clone Wars, and then I realized I needed an episode guide to know which ones to watch when.
Yeah.
And not that I'm not one for them, because this right here on my desk, because now we have a TV in our living room, is the Arrowverse episode guide of the order to watch the Arrowverse in, starting on, starting from February 16. That's how far behind we are. We're only 4 years behind, no big deal.
All the way through to the Crisis.
Well, this one, I don't know how far this one goes. I actually have to get a new guide because this one actually only goes to 2017, because that's when I printed this guide, was back in 2017, and then we stopped watching them, and my girls often will remind me.
So you're really,
I'm really,
you really,
far.
you really got to catch up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
that's beside the point. That's not part
That's
of it.
beside the point. See, we have this thing, we're like, we're just regular guys, and we're here to talk, and we talk about the Lord because we love the Lord, and we talk about nerdy stuff because we're nerdy and we're geeky, and
And
that's
then
what we do.
and then you see where we come from sometimes, and you're
And
like,
then you see Biggs, and you're like, oh, okay. I
oh
get it.
yeah. He's over there. No, there's 3 cartoons. There's 3 cartoons. You only are listing 2 cartoons. You're forgetting about the Resistance. I googled it. And you're like, dude, can you calm down? Like,
I have the information.
Watching since 1977. Come on.
it's like, anyway.
Can't help but I have it on VHS, DVD.
Oh yeah, he was like, do I bring the Blu-rays or the DVDs? I was like, I don't care. And Tina's like, do we have VHS? I'm like, we're not watching it. I mean,
Come on, you got to be a VHS purist, man.
well, to be fair,
fair.
if you have one of the original one of the original VHSs, before they remastered, before they redid, there are things that are different. So
Yeah.
I do understand being a purist in that way, but I'm not sitting through with it on my 55-inch TV. I'm not watching a VHS on my 55-inch TV. I'm not doing it. No. No, like someone was like, "Why don't you hook up your old console? Why do you use your
'Cause it's,
Switch?"
it's not 30 millimeter film anymore.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not hooking the Nintendo up. It even sent the cable so you could hook up like old systems to the TV, and I'm going, no, no, because pixels would literally be like that big. Like
Yeah.
I'm not doing it.
It'd either be that big or they'd have space between them because they'd be like, we reached the max pixel size. We don't know what to do
Yeah,
now.
we don't know what to do with these extra pixels. Like Tina said, just tracking lines. They're like
Too much
they're
space.
this big across the, the screen. They're 2 inches thick as they.
Whoa, these special effects are fetch, man.
Stop trying to make fetch a thing. Another
All
good
right.
Christmas movie. They sing Christmas songs in it. It's a Christmas movie, right?
Yes. You have to watch Die Hard, and you have to watch.
Die Hard and Mean
Why did-
Girls.
Why did Zadie just yell her own name?
I
on
don't know why Zadie yelled her. Oh, I said Tina. She has started to get on to me for using her real name because not because she doesn't want people to know her real name, because and I quote, "If you get to be Nooms, I get to be Zadie." It's fair. Um, so
I
Side
wrote
note.
"theet" on my cup at my mother-in-law's house for drinking out of yesterday,
feet.
and "theet." That's my gamer tag. "Theet."
Oh,
T-
I thought you said
E-
feet. I was
no,
like,
THETE. "Theet."
yes, feet.
And it's the first time I've written something other than Bill that my wife didn't get on to me. So progress.
As long as we don't
Yeah, I
start
was
writing
going
some
by
names,
feet.
we're fine.
Huh?
As long as we don't start writing some names on cups, we're fine.
I was going by "Theet Lungbarrow," because the Doctor Who reference.
Yep.
But then it got too long. Like
Yeah.
I'd go to say something in chat, and the preview would just so "Theet Lungbarrow" and then like one letter, and I was like, that means everybody has to click the chat box to see what I'm saying every time I say something.
And
So now-
some games you can't go that long.
Yeah, so I just shortened it to "Theet." And
It's like Nooms is too short sometimes. Because some games require 6 characters. And so you're like, no. That's why I add the GFG tag to the back. You're correct, Biggs.
all right. So that's what we had for tonight. We got about 9 minutes till the next podcast comes out. The next podcast it's not as long of a podcast. It's like 7 minutes because there was no point in just
Slacking.
shoving it full of words.
Slacking.
Huh?
Slacking.
It was good like as it was. It was succinct. It didn't need all that extra. But it would be better if you gave yourself some time to kind of heed the concept and kind of walk through it, and do the steps and spend some time on it. It's our New Year's episode. It's called Endings and New Beginnings. Yeah? Just going to pop that in the middle of me talking, that Mountain Dew there?
0.
You're going to do the do? The zero do.
0.
So that comes out in about 8 minutes. So go ahead and listen to that and have a safe and happy New Year. Don't go crazy and drink yourself into a stupor. Did I ever tell you that Randy Tyler had a friend come over on New Year's Eve who was totally drunk? Yeah, so this gets Randy Tyler is one of the board members on our, for the Ecclesian House, and great guy. I love the guy. He's awesome. He's energetic and he's passionate about everything. But it's New Year's Eve, and this friend of his comes over, and he's just completely drunk out of his mind. And he's like, "Dude, what are you doing?" And he's like, "I don't know. I just need a place to crash." And Randy was like, "Sure, man. Come on. You can crash on my couch." And so he crashed on his couch. And then when Randy woke up in the morning, his friend was dead. He had literally drank himself to death. And then when he called 911, They unfortunately had to put him on a waiting list for pickup. And it took them, I think it was 10 hours to get there to pick up the body because of how many calls they get on New Year's Day to come pick up bodies. So, be
So
safe.
he had to just chill in his house with a dead dude for
Had
10
to
hours?
Still in his house with the dead guy on the couch until
No.
the city could come and pick it up.
No.
Yep.
Mm-mm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm.
Yep, that's what happened.
Mm-mm. I'll burn the house down.
You probably would.
Y'all took too long. I cremated him.
You made it.
He was looking at me.
If you can find the ashes, you can take him, but it's all just there.
He was looking at me. I burnt the house down. I'm sorry.
Just looking at me. Point is, obviously, be safe. Don't make reckless decisions. You know, there's easier ways to relax without killing yourself. So, you got anything else you want to say before we?
Just try to make it to the end of 2020.
Right? If you made it this far,
try to make it a week.
if you made it this far, don't let it conquer you now.
Just got
If
like a
nothing
couple
else,
days.
but just fight 2020.
Yeah.
Just make it to the end. Just survive to the end of 2020 and be like, that's right, 2020, you couldn't take me down.
We should make Biggs sing the 30-second buffer song.
Ooh, just Biggs by himself.
Yeah. So we're not gonna have Biggs sing the 30-second buffer song because he did this.
I was getting all ready to dance to Biggs singing.
I know. Yeah. He told me no, and there's a reason he's called Biggs, because he's a line worker, and I'm not arguing with him. I like my walls. My walls are pretty in my house. And just so you know, my father is not abusive or anything like that. Let me be clear about making that joke. He doesn't punch walls for the fun of it. But there were times where I got too big for my britches and would challenge him to a fight. And usually we would end up breaking a wall or a door or something by the end of it because
You always lost.
Well, there was one time we called it off because I cheap shotted you and put you into the wall. And then you yelled, your mother is going to kill you. We must fix this door before she gets home. So neither one of us really lost or won that one time.
Stop for repairs.
Because we had to stop for repairs because we're both scared of her. She's 5'2". He could barely lift a book, but anyway. Oh man, we broke the door. She's gonna kill us.
And with that,
We will sing the 30-second buffer song.
we're gonna
I will
30
start. Haha, I lied.
You said you were going to start.
Okay, I'll start.
You muted your microphone.
I love this new headset. I gotta tell you guys, I love this new headset. 30-second buffer. 30-second buffer. 30-second buffer.
Has it been 30 seconds yet?
No, it's been 8.
30-second buffer.
Yeah.
30-second buffer.
What?
30-second buffer.
Yeah.
I wonder when it will end.
In about 10 seconds.
30-second buffer.
What?
30-second buffer.
Yeah.
Bye, you'll have a good week.
Bye.
Stay safe and alive.
Yes. And then